Sean Payton spoke to the media this afternoon to officially kick off training camp for the 2024 season. And naturally, the first question that the press was going to ask him was, what's the status of the quarterback competition? What's the status of the rotation there? So bringing in this tweet from Nick Kosmider of The Athletic, Sean Payton is keeping things still pretty wide open in terms of the quarterback competition. He says that the Broncos will mix up the rotation to start camp, just like it was being mixed up in OTAs and in minicamp, but it won't stay that way for the long term. He says that the competition is going to whittle itself down organically, and that everybody is going to enter camp basically on a level playing field. It's going to allow the best guy to immediately emerge as the top dog, and once that happens, the Broncos will be able to build their offense around whoever emerges between Bo Nix, Jarrett Stidham, and Zach Wilson. Fans and media pundits alike have speculated that Bo Nix will be the starter come week 1 up in Seattle, but Sean Payton, at least publicly through the media, is going to go through the motions just like we said in previous videos, and he's going to, at least from all outside appearances, make this look like a quarterback competition, even though Sean probably knows what direction that he wants to go come week 1. Bo Nix is really doing a good job of picking up this offense, and that's exactly what we can ask from him as we go through this early part of the offseason. Now that we get into training camp, Bo needs to take that next step forward and really establish a baseline of knowledge and what he can basically grow on as we go into the regular season. So I've already talked about how Bo Nix does a really good job already of taking command at the line of scrimmage. He handles calling the play in the huddle very well. He handles the pre-snap identifications, the post-snap identifications, the cadence at the line of scrimmage, making sure all 11 guys are on the same page before the ball is snapped. Bo Nix does a really, really good job of that out the gate. There are still some issues with Bo Nix in terms of timing with receivers. That's going to really develop more and more as we get through camp. You can expect Bo Nix to not be behind on certain throws like he was throughout OTAs and minicamp. That's what I'm expecting from Bo Nix. Jarrett Stidham really was the steady Eddie dude as we went through OTAs and minicamp. He was the guy who was delivering the ball where it needed to be, on time, in rhythm, in structure, but you didn't see all kinds of flash plays from Jarrett Stidham. You didn't see those big-time throws that you want to see if he's going to indeed take this job, at least right out the gate. Jarrett Stidham obviously is going to be the most comfortable in this offense. He's been in this offense the longest. He's the most familiar with the terminology, all of the checks at the line of scrimmage, everything that you have to be aware of before the ball is even snapped. So the more and more that Bo Nix closes that gap between Jarrett Stidham, the more and more confident I feel like Bo Nix is going to be ready to go. During OTAs and minicamp, Zach Wilson, I'm just going to be honest, he really, really struggled. He was not grasping the basics of the offense, the pre-snap stuff, the cadence, the identification of the Mike linebacker, the identification of who may be coming on a blitz. Zach Wilson, you have to remember, he's going into his 4th year in the NFL. He should have that stuff in theory mastered. You can say what you want about coaching, but I can almost guarantee you that Mike LaFleur, the first offensive coordinator that he had with the Jets, was able to install some baseline knowledge there. Zach just seemingly wasn't able to receive it and absorb it. And that seems to be a problem throughout Zach Wilson's entire career. I'm hoping he's able to get better at that as we get through training camp, and that could allow Zach Wilson to close this gap. But based on everything that we've seen so far leading to this point, Zach Wilson is very clearly behind Bo Nix and Jarrett Stidham. He's currently competing to be the Broncos' backup quarterback. As much as Sean Payton wants to say this is an even open competition, Zach Wilson needs time to sit. He needs time to learn. He needs time to absorb this information. Just like somebody like Geno Smith, he had what was it, 6-7 years to sit back and learn and absorb all of this information going through different offenses. And then he was finally able to translate that on the field when given the opportunity. The hope for the New York Jets last year was Zach Wilson was going to do that. That was the initial goal. But then that all went to hell 4 snaps into the year when Aaron Rodgers blew out his Achilles. Zach Wilson got thrown right back into the fire when he was not ready. That's the last thing that the Denver Broncos need to do with Zach Wilson. This needs to be a year-long football rehabilitation, kind of similar to what the San Francisco 49ers did with Sam Darnold. It's really simple. Zach just needs time to sit back, learn, grow, develop, get better, master the pre-snap identification at the line of scrimmage. You can do that through watching a ton of film. Master, who may be coming on a blitz. Master the ability to just spit the play call out in the huddle. That's something that Zach Wilson still needs to grow and get better in. I mean, I have to imagine early on with the Jets, Zach Wilson's play calls were probably like 1, 2, 3 words. Then the rest of the offense had to learn the play calls. A report came out that Russell Wilson and the Broncos had to do that here in Denver. I know I've been labeled as an early Zach Wilson hater, but you expect a 4th-year player in the NFL to be at a certain point in his development, and you can only blame poor coaching so much. At the end of the day, the player has to do something different in their study and their preparation habits. And that's what I'm also hoping Zach Wilson can develop and grow and get better over the course of this season. The Jets wanted Zach Wilson to go back last year and watch Aaron Rodgers' preparation and study habits, which, of all the flaws of Aaron Rodgers there are, the dude does prepare and study quite well. So I feel like Zach Wilson could have gained a lot of valuable information there last year. Unfortunately, again, that plan all went to hell 4 snaps into the season. Right now, the best thing for the Denver Broncos and the best thing for Zach Wilson is for him to sit, grow, learn, and get better. So I think that the Broncos, and I've said this on the record before, they need to whittle this competition down, and Sean Payton says it will whittle itself down organically to 2 guys. And those 2 guys, I strongly believe, are going to be Bo Nix and Jarrett Stidham. The question becomes, at that point, who do you name the starter between Nix and Stidham? If Nix is showcasing that he's able to master everything that we've talked about with the pre-snap stuff and the post-snap stuff, and he's able to close that gap between him and Stidham, then I really think that Bo Nix should end up going into week 1 as the guy. He can learn a lot of other stuff on the fly as we go on the field. I'm okay with Bo Nix throwing interceptions because every interception thrown is a learning opportunity. And Bo Nix seems like a guy who's able to take it for what it is, learn from it, and then throw it away, flush it, and move on to the next play. I'm really, really confident that Bo Nix will be the starter week 1 based on those reasons. All right, Broncos country, I am curious. As we go through the motions here, who do you think is going to end up emerging as the week 1 starter? Drop those comments down below, guys. I would love to hear your thoughts as always. Be sure to leave a like on this video as well as subscribe and ring the bell so these videos appear in your notification feed. I would really appreciate it, guys. Those are 2 free and easy ways to show your support. It helps tell YouTube's algorithm to push us out, and it helps us get seen by more and more members of Broncos country just like you and me. And until next time, guys, I am your host, Gage Madrid, saying peace out.